Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z.
And I'm Keith.
And we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show. Oh, hey.
Hey.
Go
to patreon.com/ZNKpod and we'll
give us $1 a month.
And we'll have some amazing fun for you.
You will
it's
be
really
overloaded with content.
I read this thing that was like, you should tell people how how fun it is or whatever, or I don't know, make it sound beneficial to subscribe to Patreon.
Our patrons are the chosen people.
It's true. Well, our patrons,
for the price of $12 a year, you will get into heaven.
Yeah. Oh my God. We just have so much stuff on there. So much stuff on there.
Oh my God, it's stupid how much stuff there is on there.
It's true. Anyway, or follow us on social media, ZNK Pod on everything. I haven't posted to TikTok in a while because I haven't been able to get desktop to work, and I refuse to fuck with transferring it all over to my phone and then doing it. Because you can't schedule it on your phone. You can't schedule.
Oh.
So.
It's very confusing to me. Yeah, I don't know why every social media platform doesn't allow you to schedule just as a default.
I know.
I mean, I guess so you pay for things, but so many of them are have to be third party.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
I know. I hate it.
Social media sucks, and
you should follow us on it.
Yeah.
Now that that's out of the way.
It's worth weathering all the hate speech just to see some fun photos and videos of us. Photos and videos of films and us talking about them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm totally selling it. I'm sorry. I'm undermining everything you're saying.
Thank you so much.
I'm the bad parent.
Well, not the bad parent. You're just not a good parent.
What is a parent is this that we watched this film.
Yeah, we watched Set It Off. So what'd you think?
Mixed, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a film, it's entertaining.
I really enjoyed a lot of it.
Yes.
Most of it, I really enjoyed.
What's confusing to me is about sort of the messaging.
Yeah, correct.
Which, I don't want to judge it too harshly, obviously, and I don't want to. I don't know. I spent some time this morning reading, about black film of the era.
Yeah.
And how a lot of it was very just opportunistic, taking advantage of studios and executives taking advantage of a moment when audiences seem to be, it suddenly became profitable. I mean, it wasn't sudden by any means. And what have you, but whatever. So, I don't want to go too hard. And F. Gary Gray, who directed this, is still around and still making stuff, and did Friday and did the NWA biopic, the Straight Outta Compton thing, which I haven't watched.
I haven't seen it,
yeah. So, the performances are great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
And apparently I didn't. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I didn't think about like this is a very for its time.
yeah.
One of the few positive, or like not one of the plain few representations of Black queerness,
Right.
At all.
I was so blown away by that. I didn't know that. I mean, because I knew Queen Latifah is queer, in real life, but like I didn't know that that she was queer in this movie.
Yeah.
Who, like,
And it's not.
It's not. Yeah. This I don't think I've
not really sensationalized.
ever seen a movie in the 90s like this.
No.
And this was so shocking to me. The fact that she like has a steady girlfriend.
Who's not really a character.
Right. Who's not necessarily a character, but she's just like
Yeah.
attracted to, like, they like fully show her being attracted to a woman. It's like a butch and femme relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not like shitty person and victim. Like, it's not like they're not doing any tropey weird
There's
shit.
no evidence she's abusive.
Yeah.
I mean,
which I feel like they would do that. Like if they push the butch like aesthetic, then they would usually mean that, like, they would usually try to like, and I'm not talking about like Black films specific. I'm talking about like just the way that the trope of butch was, especially like in the 90s and early aughts and shit like that. People thought it was funny to imply that if you're butchy, you're also abusive. Or like...
They think it was funny?
I assume so. I assumed it was more like for like comedic relief or like just to make a mockery, you know? I don't necessarily mean funny as like, this is hilarious, but funny as like a way to undermine.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that Latifah's character, Cleo, is...
Not the best.
Yeah, not the best character as far as like intentions or motivations.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
She is into bank robbing. Just,
yeah.
I mean, everybody else wants to get out, or is trying to just survive and take care of their child.
Yeah.
These kinds of things, but
the
she's in it just to do the crime.
Yeah. So a couple things that were a little bit, I don't want to say annoying, but maybe annoying and a little confusing. Jada Pinkett was like the main character, pretty much.
Yeah, that was confusing and a weird choice to me.
But Frankie, Vivica A Fox's character, Frankie, was
who we see first,
and who, like, I don't know, like, and she kind of not fully, but like a little bit disappears after. I don't know. It not disappears, but like as a character, like,
her development stops after. And
I was like,
she gets fired or whatever.
Yeah, very confused. Not to say that like I enjoyed.
TT doesn't get much either.
TT gets almost nothing.
She's a mom. That's her.
Right. She's a mom. She's a single mom. So basically the story is just like 4 Black women who are, poor and cleaning for a living, basically. Vivica A Fox, it starts with her being a bank teller and getting robbed, like, and there being like a whole like thing where somebody gets shot and like killed, and like there's all, it's just like absolutely.
She knows the guy, one of the guys.
But she knows who is robbing the bank, or one of the people at least that's robbing the bank.
Right. And
so they're like, clearly, since you knew him, you had something to do with this. Yeah. And she was just like, what the fuck? So they fire her.
Yeah.
And then, it ends up to where she didn't have anything to do with it. They couldn't link her to it at all, but she still lost her job. And so she ends up cleaning houses with Jada Pinkett and Queen Latifah and, oh God, what's...
Elise is her last name.
Kimberly Elise. Yes. So they're all cleaning houses together. And Kimberly Elise, I swear to God, she's like perpetually like 22 years old. Like she from 1996 to now, she's barely aged. So Jada Pinkett has a brother who she's trying to get into college, and there's this whole weird thing where she like sleeps with a guy for money so that she can get him college tuition, and he's like, JK, I didn't actually even get into college. And then he goes and hangs out with a friend, and that friend is one of the people that robbed the bank. And
who gives him a bottle of champagne?
Right. He gives him a bottle of champagne
to congratulate him for college.
I guess, yeah. And he gives him the same haircut that he has, which there's like an AP.
Oh, yes. Acorn Projects.
Yeah. And so he like, whatever. So as Jada Pinkett's brother, as Stoney's brother is leaving the apartment, like, a whole SWAT team comes. And this part was the most unbelievable to me. So they come and they tell him to get on the ground, and he has this bottle of champagne in his jacket. So he goes to take it out, and this is absolutely believable. He goes to take it out, and they just lay in, and they absolutely just murder him, cold blood. Whatever. Anyway. The unbelievable thing is that John C. McGinley, well, not just that, but John C. McGinley goes over, turns the body over, and immediately recognizes that it's the wrong person. How would he know? How would he fucking know? He's a cop. He wouldn't be able to... That
grainy-ass black and white security footage.
Right. I mean, they probably know what he looks like, but still, I don't believe that they would immediately feel remorse. They'd be like, okay, this guy was obviously in on it. There's no way that a white cop is going to kill a black kid
in LAPD in the 90s.
Yeah, and feel any sort of remorse.
Or ever.
That's never going to happen, which is like, that's, and so I was like, whatever. And so John C. McGinley's
they could not do that, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The film would not have been made.
Well, yeah. No, I know that. But I'm just saying,
especially at this time.
I'm like, absolutely not. Like, that wouldn't happen. Yeah, so he's like, oh, my God.
The fact that he's at all painted as sympathetic, McGinley's character.
Yeah. Exactly. He's like, so... They try, like, it's so unbelievable because
he's great, but the character is ridiculous.
Yes. John C. McGinley, if it was anyone else, I would have been like, absolutely, I would have like decried this character immediately and been like, fuck this is unbelievable. Yeah. But I love John C. McGinley, so I'm like, all right, we'll allow it just for this movie. And also
he's basically the same character as you said from Point Break.
It's literally, he's like the head of a task force.
Yeah.
That's like going after bank robbers in LA. Yeah.
Typecast.
Right? Anyway.
Except he's FBI, right? In Point Break.
Yeah, but is he not FBI?
No, I think he's just LAPD.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah, I couldn't tell quite. I mean, at one point his jacket says police.
Right.
But I don't know. So.
He's a detective. He's credited as detective.
Oh, shit. Yeah. So.
That could just be his first name, though. It's Detective Strobe is his credit.
So he's super Judge Reinhold. Apologetic, and he's super apologetic, and he, like, tries to, like, he's like, I'm so sorry this happened, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's like, he was an innocent kid, and blah, blah, blah. Which, again, all that's true. All of that is true. But to believe that a cop would ever have remorse for anything.
Even the hint of a shit.
Like a cop showing remorse for anything. A cop showing remorse for anything and still keeping his job.
Let's compare with fucking Internal Affairs. Is that the one where somebody gets murdered and they immediately try to cover it up? Right?
I don't. Oh,
Richard
Gere. Yeah.
But then he sells out the black cop, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happens?
Or something. Anyway. I can't remember.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was a different life.
That was a different life. I think that was still for the pod.
Pre-poddemic.
No, I think that was for the pod. I think that was one of the first ones we did. Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't. Yeah, because that's the one with Metcalf. But we watched a couple with Richard Gere. Mm-hmm. Oh, because Primal Fear.
Yeah.
Anyway,
which was also for the pod. Anyway, he's like convinced that Vivica A Fox is involved because Stoney's brother was at the apartments that the guy who robbed Vivica A Fox's bank was at. Like,
right.
So it's like,
well, he automatically, just because of racism.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
already thought that they were connected.
Well, that's what I mean. They're trying. It's trying to be. He's trying to say like, oh, this is an obvious connection.
Right. Once Stoney shows like, once
Stoney.
Yeah, they kill the brother, and then all the ladies are there. Stoney's friends are there.
Yeah.
Meaning Frankie's there too. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh.
Captain Fredericks? Sir? Do you remember the Pan Pacific Bank robbery where 4 people were killed and the subsequent arrest of the perp where a young man was shot and killed?
Stevie Newsom, we're still getting bad press for that.
Yes, sir. I'd like to bring in his sister, Lita Newsom. I think she's one of the bank robbers.
What you got?
Well, right now I got a girl named Francesca Sutton. She's a teller at the Pan Pacific Bank, and I'm relatively certain she was connected to the whole thing.
Well, go on.
Well, Francesca Sutton and Lita Newsom are best friends. Right, that's a big coincidence, okay? But there's also a physical likeness.
Wait. Do you remember?
They're real suspects.
Do you remember the headline? Innocent student killed by cops?
Of course I remember.
And now you want to bring in a sister based on the fact that she knows someone who may be friends with a bank robber?
You're goddamn right, that's the reason.
What the hell's wrong with you, Stroh? No way.
Yeah, but like, they presented it like as like deduction, and it's literally just racism.
Just racism.
He's just like, oh, this person that is poor and living in the same place as all these other, like this poor black dude who robbed a bank and lives in the same neighborhood as all these other poor black folks, they must be connected somehow. And I'm like, or no. Like, it's so stupid.
And as you point out towards the end, Blair Underwood doesn't get...
Exactly. It's the same exact thing. Yeah. The only difference is he wasn't there, which is more suspicious.
Right.
And he actually was connected. I mean, more connected. He was in a relationship with one of the people that robbed the bank. He knew...
Well, and it's clearly implied that he has an idea that...
Yeah, he knew
when she calls him that...
Well, he recognized her from the surveillance.
Oh, yeah, that too.
He recognized her from the surveillance. She calls and she says, hey, get out of the bank for a little while. And he says, okay. And then he leaves and they rob his bank. And he doesn't get questioned. He doesn't get nothing. Fucking nothing happens.
Not only that, like, it's literally, she calls at the end of the briefing from McGinley and his partner. Which,
from the car.
Yeah, the car phone of the car they stole.
What are you looking up?
Who played his partner, who is just an unfortunate, like, why did they do that to that poor person?
They just make her...
Ella Joyce.
They just make her...
Detective Waller.
Yeah. She just is a, like, decoration. Yeah. Yeah. What I could have done without... 2 things that I could have done without. The romance.
Yeah.
With Blair Underwood. No offense to Blair Underwood. He did great. He was fine. There was no reason to have it. I mean, I do prefer that to her being a crack addict, which was how it was originally written. Y'all, stop.
I'm surprised, actually, that got taken out.
Right. I'm surprised that none of them were on crack at all. Like, none of them. Well, I mean,
it's not surprisingly. Like, I don't even, if it's referenced crack as a concept.
Oh yeah, I don't even
know.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely don't see anybody who's supposed to be.
Yeah.
On crack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Which is, I'm like, thankfully we don't need that.
Very progressive
trope. And I really, really, really fucking hated that Stoney was the only one that lived. That was fucking
was
bullshit.
Yeah.
TT getting shot first, absolutely just that was done.
I mean, you knew.
That was done. So I knew it was going to happen. because on IMDb, it's literally like a goof, quote unquote. Is that
It's a goof. She gets killed.
Yeah, it's like after TT gets shot and killed, and that's like it just shows like because they don't hide it behind a spoiler or anything. It just shows on the page. I wonder if you can't
for the goofs.
I have no idea. Anyway, so I knew that going in, and I was not happy about it, but I was like, whatever. So
but the movie sets you up. I mean, if you've ever watched the movie, you know.
That's exactly what I say to you when we watch Law & Order SVU. And you're like, why did that? And I'm like, hey, do you not know what TV is?
Yeah, the problem. Yes, I know. I know.
I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you the business.
It's not going to help your tip. I'll tell you that right now.
So, yeah, like, I know that it was done specifically to make you, like, to, like, rip your heart out because TT's, like, the most innocent one. Right. She's the one that, you know, and I didn't like that they make her kill Luther or whatever. I understand why they did that because she was, you know, she was going to be the one, like, if anything, she was going to be the one that they wanted to protect more than anything. So I get that. But I hate it because, like, like, he had a gun on, was it?
Cleo, wasn't it?
Cleo, that's what her name was. I almost said Cece. I was like, Cece's not right. I knew her name was
Sissy.
Sissy, that's Cleo, yeah.
Okay, but there's
name was Cleopatra. Her full name is Cleopatra. I'm like, oh my God, that's so accurate. A big dykey lesbian named Cleopatra. What? I've had sex with women before, so I know.
Oh.
Keith and I have both had sex with a lot of lesbians. Not together, like on our own.
I wouldn't say
like,
a lot.
I know.
I mean, proportionate to the amount of... A large portion of the people we've had sex with individually.
Yeah. Are lesbians. Actually, I've really only had sex with like 2 lesbians.
Same.
A bisexual lady and her husband and a...
Here we go.
I've actually... Whatever. Anyway. I don't need to list them to prove that I've had...
Welcome to Z and K Fucked, a pod. Fuck the...
I should... this is the thing. This is a thing with me where I'm like, the 3 months I was single when I was 30, like the 3 months between my last relationship and this relationship, I did so many, like...
Made up for a lot of lost time.
I really did. And that was my plan. That was... I mean, my goal was to get my numbers up because I had very few numbers. And I was like, gotta get those numbers higher.
Those periods are for.
Yeah. I was like, that's all I care about.
I was on the same...
Yeah.
Trek.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have enough numbers.
Of course, I can meet your stats, but
I think back to that time and I was like, that was only like 3 fucking months, and I went fucking ham. I went to 2.
And you literally fucked a ham.
I went to 2 different states in that period of time, and had sexual relations with 3 people in 2 states, different states.
Yeah.
1 at the same time. Like
1 at the same time. 2 if by C.
2. Anyway. Yeah. Anytime I tell the stories of that period of time, the way I say it, I'm like, no wonder no one believed me when I would tell them what I did. Like, people would be like, you're full of shit.
You're
I'm not.
Psychopath.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say this because I worked for a bank and I get super... What did you think I was going to say?
I thought it was going to be more on...
More sex things. So at the beginning when they're robbed, they ask Vivica A Fox the procedure.
What's the procedure when you're being robbed?
You pull the money clip from your right-hand drawer, and then you signal with the left hand.
You signal with the left. So you know the procedure.
Yes, like I said, the procedure has been told to me over 1,000,000 times.
Well, why is it if that procedure's been told to you, why didn't you follow the procedure?
Because he had a gun.
There's a couple things that I want to just sort of get out of the way. Not get out of the way, but like kind of this was like literally like 20 years before I worked. Not really 20. Like, yeah, almost 20 years before I worked at a bank. This was 1996. I worked at a bank in like 2013, 2014. No, I worked 2014 to 2015. So about a year that I worked at a bank as a teller, to be specific. I worked a different job at a bank for 3 more years. Anyway, when you are being robbed, there is no procedure. Well, this is what you're supposed to do. So you have bait money in your...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it is just some 20s, and they're like basically the serial number is like recorded. Uh-huh. And you take that and you put it in. That's the only thing. You're supposed to comply. You're not supposed to do anything. You have that bait money, and it's basically like 120s, and you just add that to it, and that's it. Everyone has bait money in their drawer. I might not have had bait money because I wasn't a full-blown teller, but because I was like in the vault or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, you don't have like you don't do anything. You completely comply with, like if a bank robber comes in, it does not matter what they ask you to do. You comply fully. Mm-hmm. They don't care about money. They don't care about anything. This is always, I know that I've told you this before. This is always the thing that really I didn't understand. But they always say, because I had to take these trainings once a year. Mm. Even when I wasn't a teller, you have to, if you work at a bank, you have to take these like compliance things, like what to do if you get robbed. I don't know why it says don't pass out.
Useful.
Don't pass out or pretend to pass out.
Okay.
I'll just not pass out. I don't think people can control when they pass out. Am I wrong? I mean, I've never passed out in a way that, I've never really passed out. I've gotten really dizzy or like almost blacked out, but like I've never felt like I could control
Just take
that.
a moment and reflect. If you start to feel like you want to pass out,
think about how that's going to affect everyone around you, and then think better of it. But also,
are armed guards still a thing? I mean, I don't know. Also, this is LA.
I don't remember. Right. So I don't remember if we had any armed guard or like any guards or anything like that where I worked. Mm-hmm. I know that there's like regulations that you can't have like over a certain amount of money at a bank. Like I don't even think there's $1 million at a bank at any time.
Right.
Like and they have daily pickups. So every day you give money to the Fed so that you don't go over a specific amount so that if you are robbed, you're fine. Which is why people try to rob like
cars,
the
transports, the armored cars,
as opposed to banks sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, you really I don't feel like I hear about bank robberies much anymore.
Oh, they happen. They happen a lot.
I know they happen, but it's not like these that are romanticized in films where it's like a crew of people go in and... I mean, occasionally you hear about like someone dressed as a weird wizard going in and holding a teller up and getting $100 or whatever.
Yeah, I will have to... I'm pretty sure I have it. Someone dressed as Captain America robbed a bank. So they happen more than you would think because anytime they would happen, we would get a bulletin basically would come in. So like... And they'd be like, here's what they looked like. And it happens like every few months someone tries or someone does it, like, you know, and it's whatever. It's not a big deal. It's usually like they came in and they tried, or they came in and they. Here's the thing. Here's what I always say. It'd be very, very, very easy to rob a bank. It'd be absolutely easy. Anyone could rob a bank.
Yeah.
You could rob a bank. Especially if you work at a bank, you could rob a bank. Absolutely easy. It is guaranteed you will get caught.
Right.
That's it. Like, you could, like, it's so fucking easy to do because there's just, like, there's a lot of, like, time where you're just, like, alone with tons of money. Thing is, there's cameras everywhere, and they keep track of everything to a point where you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Like, they would be able to catch you. Anyway.
Turns out the industry has learned from prior mistakes.
Yeah. Any hoozles. Vivica A. Fox also implies, like her character, Frankie, implies that all banks are regulated in the same way.
Yeah, right.
And that absolutely does not happen. And I say that because if you have a smaller bank and a larger bank, there are different rules, like federal rules, I think, for how you're allowed to, like, distribute money, treat your customers, things you're allowed to do, offer, like, ways you're allowed to, you know, like, operate as a business. And there is no standard. I don't know if there of any standard where you have, like, a thing that you're supposed to do to alert that there's a robber. I've never heard of anything like that. I've never even heard tell of something like that. Like, people have never, although I do have a friend. I mean, we haven't talked. We haven't talked in 4 years. Oh. We haven't talked in like 4 years, but who worked for the bank that I worked at, and at least twice he was robbed at gunpoint.
Oh wow!
Yeah, closing up.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Like, as a bank person, like, when he's closing up at night, someone came up with a gun and was like, "Give me," and he's like, "Okay, cool."
Come on.
Sure. And so he's, like, twice he was robbed at gunpoint. So it does happen. Okay. It happens, and it happens, you know, more than you would think. But it's not, like, also, I will tell you this. There was a time where there was an ATM malfunction, and the ATM was not giving out money, but it was charging people. Yeah, it was charging people, but it was jammed, so it wasn't giving out money.
Yes.
Because it was happening during tax season. So people, and this is a thing, like, please don't do this. Just if, like, people would get there. A lot of times, people don't have, like, not everyone is able to have a bank account. So if you don't have a bank account, you can get your tax return on a card. Yeah. And what people do is they go to the ATM and they try to get it all out in one lump sum. Do not do this. Do not do this. Go. I know it's fine if you want to use the same ATM. It is so much, like, the maximum amount, I think. No, well, even if you do it at the same time, the maximum amount you can get out of an ATM is, I think, $500
per transaction.
Well, per day generally, depending on the limit on your card. You can get that upped or whatever, depending on. But
I thought the default was like 200, but that was a while ago before.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on the bank you have, and that's the bank that I worked at. It was a $500 limit on how much you could get out. So but the maximum amount also that the ATM will distribute, because any more than that and it will jam. So people will, if they get their amount upped, they'll try to get more out, and then it will clog the ATM, and then you're completely fucked. So don't do that. Like, get it out a couple hundred at a time. And I say that because you absolutely will, even if you're getting out the maximum amount. That's the maximum amount it can give out before it starts to jam, which means that it's guaranteed that if you keep getting out that maximum amount, it's going to jam. And if you just repeatedly do it, it's going to jam. Like, ATMs jam all the time. And honestly, people think that ATMs run out of money. That happens so rarely. ATMs almost never run out of money, except for in tax season, when people are doing this kind of shit, and also specific areas of the town. Anyway, whatever. This is my expertise. So
remember that guy who got stuck inside?
No, I don't. Anyway.
I think you were still working at a bank when I sent you that video. It wasn't here. It was like in Houston or some shit.
I don't remember.
He was like a tech. He was like
yeah.
He was like servicing it.
Yeah.
And then it closed on him.
Oh, terrifying.
Yeah.
Imagine being So, and I'm just telling you this to let you know how much banks don't give a shit about money.
Oh yeah.
So there were so many people and so much money, and it wasn't just customers. Like, if you use a card that wasn't associated to the bank that I worked at, then you, like, if you didn't get your money, we couldn't help you. You would have to file a claim with people, you know. And they would have to contact us. It's this whole, rigmarole. So at least like 50 people that
just that
banked with us, went through. That's not counting all the other people that have like different card limits and all this shit. There was $16,000 unaccounted for. No, unaccounted for.
Oh.
That we'd given out like 16,000 more than what the ATM said it had when it was serviced, when they checked it. And we didn't know I was like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to do that. I'm like, obviously these people didn't get their money. Like, I don't fucking know. And it sat there, that discrepancy sat there for long enough. And they were like, we have to get rid of this. And eventually they were like, fuck it. No one cares. It's just $16,000. It's not that big a deal. Write it off. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did. $16,000. They said that's nothing. Yeah. Write it off. So when your bank charges you $30 because you're 2 cents overdraft, they're pieces of shit. They literally it's not because it's just because they're pieces of shit. Like, they literally will eat thousands of dollars a day, and they don't give a shit about it. It does not hurt them at all. Mm-hmm. They don't fucking care. It's no big deal. So if you get overdrafted for like 10 cents or $15, that's literally just theft. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
It's loss, right?
Yeah.
It's like factored in.
Yeah. They don't give a shit. It is literally, it has nothing to do with them needing, nothing. No, it's just, they profit off of your debt. Period. Yeah. It's horrifying. Anyway, so that's just something to chew on. I had to pee too. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on banks.
Oh.
Excellent
choice of words. What a turn of phrase.
Oh, shit.
If I had a nickel.
nickels.
Every time you dropped your 2 cents.
This is a thing where I worked for a bank. I think here's what it is. Here's what it is for me. It's because I had to be so on it all day, every day, and I had to know so much about like ATMs and limits and card issues and like all this shit. And there was literally no one to talk to about this. Like, this is not, it is not a job where you can discuss it afterwards. Because I've tried. The amount of times that I'd be like, I would try to explain to someone what my job was, and I'd see them be like,
immediately glaze over.
Like, their eyes glazing over and just going, and just like looking for anything.
Any escape.
Anything. And I'm like, oh my God. And the worst part is, I did not love the job. I loved what I did.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. Oh, you want me to find?
Oh,
you want me to go and you want me to find a discrepancy in this card? In this card activity? Oh my God. You want me to see if I can figure out the specific date and time this ATM fucked up? Yeah, no, absolutely.
100 minutes later.
I loved it. It was great. Anyway, yeah. That's all. So, anytime there's like, here's a bank doing something, I'm like, actually, this is what I learned in the years that I worked at a bank. Also, I recognize that the bank that I worked at was not like all banks. Like, I don't know, like it wasn't like fucking Chase or whatever, and it's going to be a completely different story. Like Chase,
it's a regional chain, not a national one.
Well, yeah, it's like expanding. Yeah, it's expanding.
Sure.
So
it's
like the rule,
right?
Yeah. So the rules, but that meant the rules changed.
Yeah, often
while I was working there. Yeah. Which was another really fun and not stressful thing at all.
Totally.
Working in a place where there's anyway. Also, that is honestly where I learned, and this is just a people observation, that you can't trust
anyone.
Yeah, but you can't trust that someone's going to do what you assume is logical. Like that will never happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and it doesn't matter how well you set it up where there's only one path. They will find another fucking way, and they will fuck it up beyond measure.
Yeah.
If you say you're not allowed to do this, they won't hear you're not allowed to do this. They'll hear they don't understand you don't have permission to do this. They think you literally can't physically do it, and so they'll try to do it, and when it works they're like, well, I keep doing it because I can. And we're like, that's not what we didn't say, that you can't physically do it. We didn't say that it's not going to let you do it. We said you're not allowed to do it. And they're like, well, it lets me, so I'm allowed to do it. You're like, that's not what we said. Let's say that. Yeah, I remember I had this discussion with someone that was the boss of my boss, and I said, yeah, people are closing cards. Or no, I said people are reopening cards that have been closed. And she said, we told them not to do that. And I said, they don't. I was like, yeah, and they're still doing it. She's like, but we told them not to. And I said, but we gave them access to do it. And she said, but we said don't do it. And I said, but we gave them access to do it. She's like, but we told them not to. And I was like, yeah, I don't think, nobody cares that we told them not to. She's like, but we specifically told them not to. And I'm like, you keep saying that, but I feel like you're not retaining that.
Not really internalizing.
They don't care. They're doing it anyway. That was really the job that like sold it for me, that I'm like, oh, you have to be so fucking explicit in not just how you tell people, but in like, you have to have directions like plastered on the wall. You have to have anyway, whatever.
No.
Okay, we're going to take a break real quick. Be right back.
I loved telling people they were wrong. I was that bitch. I was 100%.
Oh yeah, I definitely got into a place in my position as an assistant manager of really enjoying telling customers specifically no.
My favorite thing to do was when someone would be like, it would be something that like they wouldn't be able to speak to me if they didn't have access to do the thing that they were asking me to do, and it'd be like, you can do that, and they'd be like, I don't have access to. And so I would literally like email them back and would give them step-by-step directions
and like
with
screenshots,
highlighted arrow, like literally like I'd be like, that's how you do it, and they'd be like, thanks. And I was like, I don't care if it takes. I was so fast at that people would come to me and they would be like, can you make a quick little like manual for how to do XYZ? And I'd be like, yeah, I have to leave in 45 minutes, but I can get it done. I would just be like, I loved it so much. Anyway, back to the movie. I loved Jada Pinkett's hair. I didn't understand Vivica A Fox's hair, or why they repeatedly, like, I kept noticing she was like the edges, like the very ends of it she just kept combing it and brushing it and trying to style it in the back. Yeah, the very ends, because she has short hair.
Right.
So she has like those little like ducktails or whatever. I don't know. And and she's just like there was like right immediately after they rob a bank, she has a comb and she's combing the tips of the ends of her hair. She's combing it a specific direction. And like I think they're like about to they're like picking someone up before they're about to rob the bank or something, and she's doing like this in the car. She's doing like this with her hair, and I'm like, "But you're gonna wear a wig. It doesn't matter." Or maybe it's right after she shakes it. She's it's so weird.
It's like a tick.
I don't know, but anyway. Also, yeah, I don't know. I like Vivica A Fox a lot, and I feel like I was pissed when her character got killed.
Oh, yeah.
I did not like that. I'm like, that's not fair. And like Stoney's, I was really torn about Stoney getting all the money and being okay in the end. I was like, I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve to have money. I'm not saying any of these people don't deserve to have money. That's not the moral of any, that's not what I'm talking about. It's the fact that like she wanted to do it the least.
Right.
And she just got lucky.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like that's real.
It is real, but I don't know.
But yeah, it didn't feel great.
No, it did not feel good.
Also, to me, she was kind of the least likable character.
I don't want to say she was the least likable character, but I feel like she was the least.
I didn't like her.
That's fine. No, I'm saying she was the least like enigmatic. Like I didn't dislike her at all.
Because she gets the most time.
Yeah, she gets the most time, but there's no real development. She just has a romance with Blair Underwood, and they drag a chain between his ass cheeks. I didn't understand that part. No offense.
I didn't particularly enjoy her performance.
Okay.
I haven't seen Jada Pinkett in a lot of things. I watched like the first season of Gotham or something, which she's in, and I liked her in that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen her. I can't.
You've seen her in the Matrix movies.
Okay, yeah, but
she plays Niobe.
Yeah, but not a huge role.
Not a huge role, but no one other than Keanu Reeves and
correct.
Lawrence Fishburne has a huge role. I'm just saying. I don't know why you're getting defensive.
Because you're calling me racist.
Well, I don't have to call you
Which is
that.
redundant.
Well, yeah, okay, that's fair. I didn't call you that. I just asked you questions that would lead other people to assume that. Yeah, I really hated.
Dr. Dre's in this movie.
It's true. It's his first movie.
I need something I can set it off with.
Damn, y'all ain't bullshit, nah.
Who want them guns we was shooting?
Y'all can't afford them guns.
And that's why it's a favor.
Oh, God, I have to read. Hold on, I have to read the trivia. IMDb trivia term.
Oh, also of note, we watched the director's cut.
Yeah, that's true. We did watch the director's cut. In the director's cut, after Stoney attacks Detective Strode, a scene is inserted where Cleo, Frankie, and Tashawn comfort a grieving Stoney in her house. So I guess that wasn't in there.
Wait, say that again?
In the director's cut, after Stoney attacks Detective Strode, a scene is inserted where Cleo, Frankie, and Tashawn comfort a grieving Stoney in her house.
She attacks Strode. Oh, yeah, we saw that. That's where she comes out of the bathroom. She's like been puking all day.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, you're saying that wasn't
in the director's cut. That was added.
I want to stay in here. I can't stay in here no more.
Stay with me.
No. No, I want out of here. All of it.
Hold on, I have to find the fucking... Oh, man. Rosie Perez was originally cast. I love her so much.
We will have to watch White Man Can't Jump at some point.
That's fine. I love Rosie Perez, so anything with her.
And I love Woody Harrelson. Everybody knows that about me.
Okay. Oh, okay. Dr. Dre had his own high-speed chase with police in 1993, which gives special insider meaning to his comment on the helicopters during the police high-speed chase involving Cleo.
When he says, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Insider meeting. Oh, my God. Whose child am I? Insider meeting. Whose young male child am I?
Mine.
That's fair.
You're my ward.
Oh, God. Yeah. Would you recommend?
I mean, sure, why not? Yeah.
I didn't like how it ended. I never like seeing
No.
violence against Black people in films.
And a lot of Black folks die in this movie.
Yeah, and this was like, I know why they did it. They did it because it's like to like I think, okay, I'm going to try to see if I can put it into like, I think, and I could be wrong, this is my thought process. So like the way that like how they did like Reservoir Dogs and like all these like movies in the 90s where they were like lots of like gunfights and like gunfire, but they were all men.
Yes.
So I think it was trying to show that like the women can.
Sisters are doing it for themselves.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean like how like Queen Latifah, like her character, like gets shot in her car and like she gets out and she's just like, wah, that's a very male machismo.
You've seen that scene since the 90s, especially. You've seen that sequence 100 times with a dude.
Almost never with a woman.
Yeah.
So I think their attempt to like show that stuff was to
and it's not
women.
Really,
it doesn't feel
fetishized.
Well, not fetishized, but like it doesn't feel like it's done to be like. It doesn't feel like it's done any differently than how a man's scene would be shot. So that's something that I liked about it.
Right.
I don't again, I don't want to see violence on like Black bodies. I don't want to see like Black folks getting murdered by the police. Like none of that was enjoyable. But what I appreciated is that the same scene would be shot if the characters were white men.
Yeah.
They would have done the same exact thing. So I think that's a really interesting aspect to how they chose to do this. And that was but it was like, again,
just like her
I don't want to see
relationship.
Yeah.
Like it's not really particularly sensationalized or fetishized
for
that they're women. I mean, like, of course it's commented on by the cops or whatever, but
and they're not, I mean, like other than the one outfit, like when she goes out with him and she wears like a fancy dress, other than that, like they're not like hypersexualized in any capacity. Even when Stoney's character is like having sex with someone for money, it's not like she's not shown naked. She's not shown in a compromising position. She's shown being compromised and unhappy with what's happening.
Yeah, but it's not sexualized for our gaze.
Correct.
Yeah.
There is no part of it.
Yeah.
You see absolutely no nudity. You don't see any sort of like, it's not graphic at all. I mean, it's graphic in what is implying.
Well, you see some breasts when Luther's having sex
yes. But it's a white woman.
Yep.
It's not, you know, and again.
Don't forget about that nipple.
So yeah, there's like, you know, it's really interesting how they, and I'm sorry, the fucking Godfather scene.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because we hadn't, it's fucking hilarious. And
I've never even seen Godfather. And
as you said, they spent like half the budget
They spent half the budget on the theme music for the Godfather, and it was worth it for that scene, honestly.
Cleo Menza. Can you respect our conditions? Can you live with the terms that your dons have set forth?
Yes, Godfather.
To Sean Scalina from Detroit. Are you cool with all of this?
I am.
And you, Don Tony from the Bronx. Can you accept your godfather's terms?
It's hilarious.
Oh,
That was
it's so good. It's
Vivica
so
A
good.
Fox, though. Oh my God, so funny in that.
Yeah.
Do you accept these terms?
I'll have to put that in.
Yes, please.
One of those. And the names.
Oh my God.
Cleomenza. Oh my God. Yeah, that's hilarious. Fucking. Okay, but we never know if Luther actually stole the money.
I know that was something that
I just realized.
I mean, we get it implied because he has has like a bunch of jewelry. He has a bunch of he gets his hair done. He has this hotel. He,
Right.
like all this shit.
Also, yeah, I cinematically I thought there were some really interesting choices
For
made.
sure. Yeah.
I really liked Cleo's going out sequence. There's my one critique was I wanted it's like she plows through the roadblock and they of course open fire and she
Yeah.
gets shot and the car rolls to a stop. I wanted that to last longer.
But she's not dead.
She's not
So
dead,
that's
but the
why.
car is rolling to a stop. I thought it would fit the aesthetic of the. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. That's just dumb.
No, that's fine.
It's not my movie. I'm not making a movie. I'm not a filmmaker.
No, I wasn't sure if you remembered that
But-
she didn't die yet. That's why I said that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's all.
No, I just felt like the song. Then there's the needle drop, as you love when I say it, up against the wind. And I was like, yeah.
That fucking En Vogue song, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Is that during the
man.
love scene?
Yes. 'Cause I can't pretend. Don't you wanna be? I can't. My range has changed completely, so I don't know how to sing anymore. Don't you wanna be more than friends? Hold me tight and don't let
The unfortunate cover of "Hey Joe," but with Seal that was on for the closing credits.
It was fine. Anyway, I would recommend. I think it's an interesting thing. It's definitely like a part of queer cinema. You know,
Yeah,
like queer
sure.
characters being queer, like queer actors playing queer characters.
Queers being.
Yeah. And the fact that I liked how much Cleo sexualized her girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she bought her
Yeah.
sexy clothes and shit like that. Like
I mean,
I
it's
like
not
that
great
because
that Ursula is her name.
Right.
Does-
Yeah.
I think she literally just says, mm-hmm. Is
yeah,
like her only line
they're
or something.
it's sort of a running gag that she doesn't talk
Yeah.
at all. But which I'm not saying that that's great, but there's no cheating or
Yeah.
there's nothing.
No,
going on. There's
honestly,
no
yeah.
she doesn't when she gets money and they're showing that she's kind of getting a little ahead
Yeah.
of herself.
Right.
She's not going to strip clubs and fucking a bunch
Right.
of women and
Yeah.
she's not
No,
doing anything
you're right.
right.
She spends it on her
Yeah.
lady.
And I was like, oh, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that in the sense of not just black queer film cinema or film character, but a queer character in general, just not being a douchebag in the fucking 90s, you
Right.
know?
No, yeah, and it does avoid a lot of
And I feel like they
the
give
pitfalls you would expect for the
I
era.
feel like they give them a lot of arcs, even though that they're feminine or womanly or whatever. They are women, I guess would be the term.
Okay, J.K. Rowling.
Since they're women, they don't give them arcs that are unbelievable if they happen to a man.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
Stoney's boyfriend didn't get killed, her brother did.
Right.
Vivica A Fox lost her job.
Yeah.
Cleo just wants a better life. I think
Tyshawn's a mother.
Yeah, I think TT's the only one that like, but even though like it's just like she's just trying to get custody of her kid that's been taken away, because of the life, which they could do the same thing with a male character. Especially being like they weren't watching and the kid did something. That's classically something written for like a male character who's like doesn't know what he's doing with a kid. Right. So like a lot of these things it's really interesting to me that they're written as like not this
super gendered.
Right. Yeah. They're not written as super gendered. They're not portrayed as like hyper feminized or like fetishized or hyper sexualized, and it's not to take away, like they still are women in this. Like it's not like they're interchangeable with men. It's just like their storylines aren't like unrelatable, I guess I should say. It's less about like, oh, a man could play this, so it's a good movie. That's not really what I mean. What I'm saying is like their stories aren't like fabricated to cater to like the idea of what a woman would care about versus what a man would care about. It's written as the same as like any other bank heist movie would be written, with a bunch of guys in it. Like, why would you get into this? Why would you, to support your family, to like do, to help yourself get a better life, all this shit, and that's what they're doing. And I don't know. It's very much more complex than I thought it was going to be in that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously it's not a perfect film or whatever, but it's definitely interesting. I definitely would recommend.
As there are a lot of parallels with Point Break.
Yes, correct.
Beyond John C McGinley.
Yeah.
McGinley. But I think it's interesting, again, as I say, I think it's interesting to put films in conversation with each other. So
correct, yeah.
I think it's an interesting companion
to Point Break.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's unfair
also,
in a lot of ways.
Unintentional that our second movie
2 months running
is about John C McGinley trying to stop a big heist. Anyway,
tune in for March.
Where we try to find that again to be happening.
Oh fuck! I was gonna say, this is only our second movie this month, but so I hope we'll talk about this more, and especially by the time we get to Malcolm X. Mm-hmm. I did not see like any of the big hits of the 90s that were by black directors. And I mean, outside of Spike Lee, but I mean the things like the John Singleton movies, like Boys from the Hood or New Jack City, which is Margaret Van Peebles, one of the ones we were thinking about watching. But like, what's the other one? There's another big one. I don't know. Colors was one from that time. Mm-hmm. But like, anyway, I'm embarrassed. I can't even remember. But I didn't see any of the like ones that got parodied because they were so popular. You know what I mean? Like, whichever one has the guy saying he'll suck your dick for crack.
I don't remember. I don't know which one that is.
That one.
That one film. I didn't see a lot of this stuff because I was really young. And so like
I had enough awareness that, I mean, it was also, I'll say that like a certain, I didn't have a lot of friends, but one branch, I had some friends that were white and getting way into gangster rap more than was appropriate.
Yeah.
I would say.
Right. Yeah.
And it always made me feel uncomfortable. Like, for better and worse, I'm saying like, I definitely, like missed out on something. Mm-hmm. And
oh, for sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, this feels really kind of icky. Like, it definitely felt exploitative. And
right. Yeah.
Like as a white person, I'm like, I'm only ever going to, I don't have any black friends. I don't know black folks in real life yet.
So
and, like, so it feels really outside gazy.
Yeah. For white people, there's such a fine line between like appreciating and like kind of immersing yourself in a different culture.
Boys in the Hood? Boys from the Hood? What did I call it?
Boys, I don't know. You said Boys in the Hood or something. I don't know.
I'm sure I said it incorrectly.
You think you said Boys from the Hood. I don't know what you said. But anyway.
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men, yeah. There's...
Oh, boysies.
Shout out, Bunny. But there's like a fine line between like immersing yourself or like enjoying, you know, rap and stuff like that, and being like, I'm an expert on this subject. And it's when you're white, I'm saying, and it's like that sort of thing when like white people like step up and they're like, look, I've been listening to rap my entire life, and when I tell you, and I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah.
You're allowed to be an outside spectator. You're allowed to throw your money at them. You're allowed to support them. You're allowed to listen to them. You're allowed to, you know, talk about what you enjoy about them. You're not allowed to insert commentary on what you think, anything, period. No. You like
exactly.
it? Great.
And
you enjoy it? Awesome. You don't like that one? Shut up. You have some comments on this one little. No, shut the fuck up.
No, I know. I was so turned off by, you know, of course, this was after by the early aughts, and I got to college, and I had moved from out of California to the Northwest, and to be around white dudes talking about like who has a better flow, Kanye or
yeah,
Jay-Z. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm running away from this.
Oh my God. Anytime white people are like, look, I've been listening to it long enough, and I'm like, stop. No. I've been listening to rap since before it became what it is now. Shut up. Oh my God.
I mean, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because the radio.
Right, exactly. It's like,
but also, you know, those conversations, you're like half a step away from becoming Eminem. Think about that, sir.
Like,
think about that, Kevin, Kyle.
Yeah, it's just, there's just so much cringe, you know?
Anyway, I wanted to get those things on the record.
Good. Yeah, I don't know.
Partially to make up for everything else that came out of my mouth in the episode.
I think it's fine. Like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I grew up in a black neighborhood, and like, I'm not trying to like throw it around or something. Like, you know, I have black relatives. I have people who are like, who I grew up around who are black.
Yeah, you don't come from the white habitus.
Right. I wasn't like around. Right. And so it was something that was really, especially moving here.
Yeah.
And people being like, oh, I never grew up around black people, or like I never really knew any black people. And I'm like, and it made me so uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, if I'm in a room full of white people and there's no people of color, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm nervous. I'm uncomfortable. It's very obvious. I'm like, ugh.
You definitely know where the exits are.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. And I'm not trying to do the thing also
that fucking, where that meme of it's.
I don't know.
It's the POV of a black man, I think, taking a photo, like a selfie, and he's sitting next to a white guy with like orange hair or something. He's like made in a movie theater, and he's like made friends with this guy just in case.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
And it isn't.
Well,
it's also tragic.
It is. Anyway, so I don't mean it in the sense of like to use someone as a prop or something like that, or to like, or that like disingenuous like I need there to be diversity before I'm comfortable. That's not what I mean. I literally mean white people make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not to say, I mean,
and
like,
it's based on experience.
Right. Yeah. Like, I just don't, it's not always.
That's why I don't really want to ever expose you to my family.
That's fair. Yeah. And it's, you know, like some of my family, you know, like I'm light skinned, obviously, indigenous, but light skinned. And like my cousins.
You can hear that.
Who I have cousins who are light skinned like me, who are also not white. My dad's DNA is colonizer DNA. It just takes over. It makes you. So like, you know, a lot of like I'm essentially like just mixed race. Like I'm not white, but I'm also like I look white or whatever, you know. So I'm aware of that sort of like discomfort that I can bring when I walk into a room full of people of color. But I will say one thing, the people who have, and this is like something that I think about all the time, the people that have made me feel the least like not represented, but like the people who have questioned my indigeneity and the people who have treated me like a pretendian and treated me like I'm faking or like I don't actually know anything. I'm just saying whatever to, you know, they have been white. And I've never been around someone who is black who I've said, yeah, I'm indigenous, to where they weren't like, oh, yeah, okay, now I get it. Like,
right. No, and this
like,
is the thing.
because you know, like I was having this conversation with a friend of mine. This was like many, many years ago. And he was talking about like, we had like a white coworker who was talking about like, you know, like how he, you know, they were like close to the same age. They were like 20-ish, you know, around the age of 20, both of them. And my coworker's black, or the person I was talking, my friend coworker is black, and the other coworker we were talking about was white. And the white coworker was basically talking about how like he'd been, you know, around people of color, and like so he's starting to have like these, you know, thoughts and these like questions and, you know, like all this stuff. And you know, my friend was like, yeah, I'm black, so I've had that in my head since I was a child. Like I can't, and I was like, right,
can't
yeah.
not.
There's like that's the thing. It's not a choice. It's not an option. Right. You're not like, oh, I'm treated different, or like, oh, people of color. I've noticed that people of color that I'm around get treated differently. No, when you're a person of color, you're immediately aware of that from the time you have any conscious thought. You are aware of that because you have no option but to be aware of it. So like anytime, like it's hard to witness white people talking about like the otherness of like, you know, being non-white, especially visibly non-white, and like take them seriously, because a lot of times it's just like, it's so surface level because they've never, I mean, and obviously not all white people are like this, but like
sure.
A lot of them, like even the ones that like dig deeper, there's so much of it. It's just like desire for a cookie, you know, like I did a good job, so I should get rewarded for that. And it's like, no one else gets anything. Like if you like no one else, like if you're black and you are aware of these things because they happen to you all the time, you don't get rewarded for being conscious of it. If you're like, you know, I'm very aware of like where I come from, and like the fact that I'm not assumed to be indigenous, and how that separates me and erases a lot of my identity. And reconnecting is scary because, you know, like my people may not be here forever, you know, and like it's, you know, this horrifying thing that I'm constantly aware of. I don't get a cookie for that.
Yep.
I don't get a cookie for shit. And like a white person being like, you know what, I donate to the I donate to the Navajo, you know, Indian fund or whatever. You're like,
I think you mean Dene.
No, I mean it's like a specific, the Indian, you know, like I donate to Indian charities. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Don't talk about it. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, like there's nothing. Right. Anyway, whatever. I'm going on a tangent. All I'm trying to say is, yes, please support black film. Yes. Support black music. Support black people. Support black culture. Support black business. Yeah. Don't insert yourself into it and try to make it your own, though. And don't pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
I mean, you can feel good about it. You can feel good about it. That's fine. Like, it's fine to feel good about it. You don't need to post about it on social media.
Yeah,
the only time you need to post
about
it.
You're not solving racism.
Right, correct. The only time you need to post it on social media is when you're like, hey, here's a good place to spend your money.
Right.
Hey, here's a good place to give your time. Hey, that's it. You don't need to be like, here's how much I've done. No, fuck off. No one needs that.
I mean, someone needs that, but nobody we want to support.
I mean, nobody is benefited from that, is what I mean. Like, literally need. I mean, like, literally. Anyway. I gotta crack my back. Yeah, it was fun, though. The movie was fun.